Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Raheem here. Let's slay some demons. Brothers and sisters, we've entered into a time, very serious time of great gravity. It's a great time for the seed of Abraham, especially the ones that are conscious of it. But it's a terrible time for everyone else. However, it is a time of unprecedented trouble. It's a time set for your execution. And we're going to talk about that. Very serious time. So we're going to talk about a few things. I call it the final solution. So we're going to talk about a few things. I have a short video for you to look at and some graphics to go over in a small presentation. Hopefully you understand. There's so much going on, and most of us are not aware of it. So I think I'll give the short video first to kind of like give some kind of set the stage. This is an independent person saying a few things. Try to get you to understand that this information is out there. Some people understand, have a feeling for the climate of what's going on, though they have no idea of how it's going to end up. I mean, some people can tell you, hey, there's a hurricane coming. They can't tell you how it's going to turn out. Anybody can survive, it's going to blow away everything. But at least have that information. And anyone that reads the scriptures should have a feel for the times. But most are not doing that. But even if you don't read the script, if you pay attention to the news, you still should have some feel for the times. It's remarkable that most people still don't have that. Well, as in part the reason why it says the elect, not the elect, but it says the resurrection would take place till the four winds blow. The second resurrection. There's two resurrections there. People are not paying attention. They talk these scriptures. You have to be careful, brothers and sisters. They're talking these scriptures. They're not talking the scriptures. They say they're talking the scriptures because they pick and choose little pieces and bits when it's very simple. I mean, you don't have to read any other stuff. Just read Exodus because everything backs up that. Everything we're talking about is based on the Abrahamic covenant. It surrounds that. It's all based on that. Don't be confused. It's totally based on that. So if that's the case, the whole Jewish religion is based on Exodus. That's the self-foundation. And it's a false assumption, but that's what it's based on. All the scriptures is based on the Abrahamic covenant. If you understand that, read Exodus. And even though it's under a veil, still it's clear enough to get you through most of this stuff. At least point out who the deceivers are. It's very clear. Right? You get God came, you're right, that's Farad. That's Elijah Muhammad says Farad. Okay? Then he raised up Moses, that's Elijah. Because there's no doubt that we've been here 40 years, enslaved. That's what Exodus is all about. It's about the period of time that 400 years have been, it's the 400 years drawing to a close. So God comes to set a reminder, the foreman said he's going to enforce that contract, tell us about the contract and say he's going to enforce it, right? And then you got the 40 year of the deceiver, Aaron, son of perdition, and then you got Joshua. I mean, it's very clear. And we see it's unfolded before our eyes because the 40 years definitely applies to us. They tell us it doesn't, but it does. 40 years, and then what happens? After 40 years, right? 1619, 2019, a plague will come in that will kill the firstborn. That's the elderly. And everything's happened right on time. So if you about the truth, you won't be confused. If you're not about the truth, then you will be confused. So we're gonna go into a couple. First, we're gonna show a short video to kind of like give a little, set the stage, and then we'll talk about other things. So let me set this up. Okay. A moment here, brothers and sisters. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. Why is that showing? I don't want that. Oh, brothers and sisters, this thing always does other than what I expected to do. Okay, for a minute here. So we get this straight. No. Okay. There you go. There you go. Okay, here we go, brothers and sisters. Here it comes.
Of the New World Order. And that recruitment arm is the Bilderberg Group. And so you have an international network of witting and unwitting co-conspirators, each one scratching the other's backs for mutual gain. And these people around the world that are recruited into the system are used by these predatory elites to help bring about their primary goal. Unfortunately, this evil is so diabolical, it's so cunning, and it's so brazen that it's beyond the suspicion or the comprehension of the vast majority of the population. They're neither aware or concerned with the fact that modern secret societies that are operating in this system came from earlier secret societies. They are blissfully unaware of how they have been turned into debt slaves by central bankers. They're unaware that the men who are being presented to them every 4 years as options for U.S. president are nothing more than tools in the hands of the elites and their agenda. The wickedness and the ruthlessness of these, I hate to sound melodramatic, but these villains is so cruel, it is so staggering, that the average person's mind simply cannot recognize the evil that is standing right before it. It doesn't matter that with just a few clicks of the mouse that anybody can learn that right now millions of people are being killed in wars and conflicts every single year, facilitated by these evil men. The average person just tunes all of that out because they have been so caught up in the trap of mindless entertainment. They are so busy trying to keep up with the Joneses and purchase whatever the next Apple product is, or they're so they have to catch up on the latest Netflix series and binge watch it so they can have conversation with their co-workers at the water cooler. They just don't have the time or the interest in the affairs of the world outside of that comfortable little bubble, which is exactly how the elites want it. And equally unfortunate is that there are those who revel in their belief that they are among the few people who have been red-pilled and are awake to the sinister plot of these evil people. They talk about the deep state, and the deep state certainly does exist, but these people have been conditioned to blindly follow the agents of the deep state itself, and they look the other way, or they justify the vile activities of some of these deep state agents while patting themselves on their backs, calling themselves patriots and defenders of the U.S. Constitution. For example, it's breaking news as of just a few minutes ago that even after the fourth time that President Trump announced that he was withdrawing troops from Syria, as it turns out, he has sent increased numbers of troops into Syria to confront Russia. There are no tools who are as useful to these predatory elites as those people who think that they are woke, but who are actually in the grips of partisan mindsets that prevents them from seeing the truth that really exists around them. They've been conquered because they have allowed themselves to be divided by a culture war, a well-orchestrated psyop that they don't even know that they have fallen for. For many of them, there's simply no way to wake them up. They are simply too satisfied. They are too proud. They have found an emotional home among like-minded people who have also fallen for psyops, such as QAnon, a psyop that has weaponized people who ought to know better and turn them against the rest of us who can see the plot and see what the psyop is doing to America. QAnon is and always has been a complete, utter, total fraud. QAnon is a movement controlled from the shadows by intelligence operatives who are intent on keeping Donald Trump in office, primarily for the purpose of pushing America toward war with the primary enemy of Israel and Saudi Arabia. That enemy is Iran. The overthrow of Iran would unleash the beasts of the New World Order to go into that region of the world and brutalize several independent nations in the region that have been kept propped up through the support of Iran and its proxies. There are very few nations left in the world that have the strength to stand up and oppose the expansion of the New World Order system of subjugation and control. And Iran is one of them. Over the course of this week, what I'm going to do is share a series of short videos that highlight the main points of various parts of this New World Order system, such as the U.S. Federal Reserve and the banking class, the Council on
Okay, brothers and sisters, the independent source, and everyone that's paying attention knows this war in Iran is coming. He's been saying it, other people have been saying it beyond this, outside the scriptures. Just paying attention to news, paying attention to what's going on, have some understanding of economics, have understanding of international politics, have understanding of just the world in general. And they even they can see it. So this war is inevitable. It's not only inevitable, it's imminent. So I just wanted to set the tone there. But it's telling you, it's also, look at things this person is saying. They got the people satisfied, so they're not paying attention. They got them distracted. See? And all that's coming to an end now, because that's why a lot of these things going on the street, because the people, because of the economic situation, because it's plague, right? And the economic situation, people not working and losing their jobs and they not getting unemployment and so forth. So in other words, dissatisfaction is rising. And so we see many things that's happening right now. This whole system is coming apart. See? So a lot of things he outlined are coming to a pass because he says one of the reasons why people are not noticing because they're satisfied. This plague is causing dissatisfaction to set in. So they're not satisfied anymore, so those things will not. So the climate will change and people start waking up. Because when you're satisfied, you just stay asleep. When dissatisfaction, right, what causes dissatisfaction? There's two primary things that will cause dissatisfaction right away. There's fire and hunger. See? And both are on the way. People are starting to feel it. You've been noticing all these food banks opening up around the country. Why open up food banks? People are hungry. Why are they hungry? Don't have any money. Food prices going up. Don't have jobs. Not working. Being thrown out of their apartments. Being thrown out of their houses. Right? Being evicted because they can't pay the rent. And those are not, most people are not paying attention. See, and a lot of people still, the ones that are satisfied, well, they're not, they think the ones that are dissatisfied, oh man, they're troublemakers. Anyway, brothers and sisters, we're going to move into the presentation. A couple things I want to cover, and then I want to get to the point of the final solution. So we're going to get into the presentation, brothers and sisters. And so let's go. The final solution. The locust, plague, famine. One day we're going to talk about Habakkuk if we have time. It talks about there'll be pestilence and famine or plague and famine will follow upon its heels. So famine's on the way. See, it says it follow. And there was two there. Contrary to what you hear with Farrakhan and his demons are saying and the scriptures, there's two. There will be two. Elijah Muhammad talked about two. Habakkuk talked about two. Even Shia, even the Sunni talk about two. Right? The Mahdi and Jesus. Everyone talking about who? There's all of a sudden Elijah Muhammad is the last. He's the messenger. Even Malachi, which they quote, talks about two. The messenger, and then the messenger of the covenant who will come to the messenger's temple. Okay, we're going to talk about a couple of things first before we get into it. We're going to get to know these demons. This is the angel. And I want you to notice something here. This is the, say, let's release the four angels. I mean, release the four, right, trumpets, or the four angels. It says release the four. But they're only talking about three here. It says, and it's these, I'm doing more detail in the follow-up, but right here, we're talking about these horses. They refer to them as horses, right? Okay. And it says, it talks about out of the mouths of them comes fire, smoke, and sulfur. Okay. And they're talking about three plagues here. See? 3 plagues. So what I want to point out here, like I said, there's more information in the following slides. But what I want to emphasize here is talking about they're releasing 4, but they only talk about 3. And it says fire, smoke, and sulfur. And it only references 3 plagues, but it's 4 of them. But it only references 3 plagues, right? And then it talks about the leftover. See? So what's the leftover? Well, that'd be the 4th one. See? And it says, okay, leftover of men who were not killed in these plagues. So these plagues, right? And then they refer to them as demons. So we need to go to the next slide for you to understand. I just want to emphasize that right here. Okay. I missed something here, but I'm not going to go back and correct it. Just follow me through this. And leftover not killed in plagues, right? And were not killed in the plagues. These not they worship out of the works of them, and or they will not worship demons. Let me see if I find. Okay, here we go. This is what I'm trying to get to here. Now, the leftover of the men were not killed in the plagues. Now the plagues, something went wrong here. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, something went wrong here. Anyway. Okay, I'm just going to explain this, brother. Since something went wrong here, I'm not going to take time to correct it right now. Anyway, there's demons, but it only talks about 3 of them because it's talking about 3 plagues. Okay, and it's talking about the leftover. So that's the 4th one. So the 4th was 4 horses, but the 4th one was not a demon. That's talking about the NOI here. And so it says, but if you go over here to the left side here, right? Okay, on the right side here, you see the top. This refers to all the nations, but I'm just talking about this particular one, the part that's talking about the earth. It says the spirits, the works, and the but. If you have a transliteral, it breaks in 3 parts. The spirit represents the top part, that's the Islamic part. The middle represents the works part, and the bottom represents the but part. You have to have it transliteral to understand that. What I'm trying to say here is that it goes over here and it says the leftover, says they will not repent out of the works of them. Because see, on the right side here, you see where it says the works on the left side, the top where the horns are? Okay, over here on the right side, right? Okay, this is the point when the war starts and the works are here, they're covered in OI. They're covered in OI, right? So that's the leftover. Because the other 3 was the demons. That was a demon here, top here, then a demon here, and a demon here. But so it's only talking about 3. Those are the plagues. But this one here wasn't. So that's where it says the works. So in other words, that was a leftover. And it says the leftover men who were not killed in the plagues, that would be this one, that one, right here on the left, the works, because they're not covering a plague, right? In order they will not worship demons. They're not worshiping demons because there's no demon under this one. So it's not I'm just pointing this out so when you read that, you understand it, because I left something out here and I don't hold up this presentation to go over it, but I can explain it if those of you follow Al-Injil, you understand what I'm talking about here. And this is chapter 18. This follows it up. See, this is more descriptive than the other one. I made a mistake on the other one, but this here, I think this will kind of clear it up. You see here, it says, I saw an angel stepping down in heaven, having great authority. Earth was lighted up in the glory of him. He cried strong, saying, Babylon fell, the great. She became a dwelling place of demons, a prison, every spirit unclean. Okay, here it is. This is when Babylon falls. This is America. America's the one that fell. That's Babylon, right? And it says, became the prison, every spirit unclean. Every spirit unclean. Remember, the demons are also unclean, called unclean spirits, because they're the corrupted part of the woman. The woman represents 7 spirits, but demons are unclean spirits. See, because there was the corruption part. There was the result of rape, 400 years of rape. So it says half of the original nation became demons. And so that's why I call them unclean spirits, because spirits represents the original nation, but it also represents Islam. See, because the Shia can also be called spirits. In some places they are called spirits. I just referenced that a minute ago. So here it is. So in Babylon Falls, under Babylon, right? See here, you have a demon under it. That's why I said it becomes a dwelling place of demons, but it also had false Israel on it, which is false Israel was called a bird. Remember, a flying eagle. You understand the angel? See, that's what I'm saying. So they're both under, where I'm showing like here, they're both under there. That's why I say, that's why I identify America, because they're the dwelling place, because the demons under there, and also false Israel. This at the time that Babylon falls. Okay? I just thought I'd point that out. Okay, let's go here. And pardon me for the first part because I missed something there, but I think you understand if those are paying attention. Anyway, if you don't, comment me and I'll explain it better. Now, let's pay close attention to this. Now, I talked about this previously. Joseph is the son of Jacob. Okay? Jacob is the son of Isaac. Okay? Isaac is the son of Abraham. Abraham had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Isaac is his son by his wife. Ishmael was son by his maiden, Egyptian maiden, which Egyptian is, because we're in Egypt, so Egypt's are Caucasian. So Ishmael's wife, mother, was Caucasian, right? But his father was Abraham. And Ishmael ended up marrying a Caucasian woman. That's how they got white. That's how the Arabs got white, because from Ishmael came the Arabs. But from Isaac came us. Okay? Because we're the true seed of Abraham. But we're the ones that the rightful inheritors, because we are the sons of Abraham's wife, even though Ishmael was his firstborn son. But Isaac was the one that was born by his wife, and that was the one that was sanctioned and anointed by God himself, because he's the one told Sarah, you will have the son, and he will be the one to inherit, you understand, be an inheritor of Abraham. And that's what Israel has a problem with, because they feel like they're the firstborn son, they should have an inheritance. Those are Arabs. See, and they become white now because that's what it's telling you. It says his mother was white and his wife was white. So they're Arabs, that's why they became white, right? White complexion. They're still original, right? See, because Abraham's seed. But they jealous because, by their jealousy, they try to destroy us, right? They gave us in the hands of the Egyptians, right, to be destroyed. That's another story, okay? So I'm trying to get to this point here. But the point is that Joseph, right, came from Jacob. So that's us, right? He's the one that went to slavery into Egypt, right? America. So Egypt represents America. Put these things in context here, right? Okay. Now, it came to the point where, if you understand the story, we're not going to go into the detail here, but the story is that Joseph ended up, right, because he solved, he went and solved his dream. Now you got to, well, I'm not going, this is food for a whole different presentation. But Joseph and Belshazzar, or Belteshazzar, which is Daniel, are the same. It's the same story, because both of them was able to solve a puzzle no one else can solve. And you know it because read it, at the end of it, both of them gets a chain of gold. Both of them are given a chain of gold. That means the same story, but it's two different results because it was conditional. Okay, if the king listened to Joseph and Daniel, same person, Daniel's called Belteshazzar. If they listened, right, the king would be spared to the next king, but it didn't. They would be destroyed. So Belshazzar was the king, right? And here they don't give his name, but he was called Pharaoh, the same king. They had the dream, right? It's when you understand it. And Joseph had to figure it out because Joseph He had been in prison, then he came out, right? See? And, well, that's no stuff I'm not going to. It gets tired. It's getting too complicated at this point. So the bottom line is that they represent the same person. And you connect it because both of them gets a chain of gold at the end, around in it, right? From the king. So Belshazzar, not Belteshazzar, Belteshazzar is Daniel. Belshazzar represents Obama, right? And this Pharaoh, he also represents Obama, right? So the point is that one or two things happen. In one case, in Daniel, the king doesn't do anything based on what Daniel told him, what Joseph told him. So his kingdom was destroyed right away. See, this get back to Jonah. See, because Jonah was told to preach that the kingdom would be destroyed, right, in 40 days unless they repented. See, that connects the two. Jonah connects the two. Because, being Joseph in prison, Jonah was in prison. I don't want to go into much detail here. So they connect the two. So what happens is that in the case of Joseph and the Pharaoh, that line, right, he listened to Joseph. So he listened. So he repented, right? But in the case of Daniel, in that same story, he didn't. So his kingdom was destroyed. The next day, destroyed by Darius, who is Farad. Farad's mother was, what's her name? I can't remember her name now. I can't remember her name. Anyway, his mother was Caucasian, Esther. His father was original, a great king. Darius is Farad. He took the kingdom down, right? But in the case of the case if he repented, his kingdom would be saved to the next king. And we know that that's the thing they had against Obama, because he was going around the world on his so-called apology tour, and the Republicans hated it. Why are you apologizing to everybody? See, that's repentance. So it was saved, and it was saved to the next king. So I want to set that story together. So there was two paths. If he hadn't, the king would have been the last president. See? But because he did, then the next president would be the one that would bring the plagues on Egypt. So that's what we get right here, because it says, and the king, okay, and it says, and a new king arose over Egypt, America, right, who knew not Joseph. See, it's the next king after Joseph. See? It's the next king after, because Joseph did this thing, right? It's the next one after that. The next king. See, the king that knew Joseph, now this is the king that didn't, the one after him. A new king rose. Okay? So that'd be Trump. And he said unto his people, hold, the people of children of Israel are more mighty than we. Come, let's deal wisely with them. He said, multiply and come to pass, as they fall out of war, they also join themselves to our enemies and fight against us and get out of the land. Read that carefully, brothers and sisters, because that's what's going on right now. That's their greatest fear, that there's going to be a war, and if the war starts, then we will turn against them, right? And then we get the hell out of here and go back home. That's their greatest fear. It tells right there. And let's deal wisely with them, or shrewdly with them. Don't let them know what was happening, because we got to deal with them. Because if they do that, so what's their solution? What's their solution? This is what their fear is. You got to understand that's what their fear is. If there's a war, right, you got to think that let's that settle. If there's a war, right, their fear is, right, that we would turn against them and fight against them and then get out of here. Now, if that's their fear, what would you do if that was your fear? What would you do? You'd have to get rid of them. Well, the choice you have. If that's your fear, that if there's war, and if war happens, and that was the war they had with the Japanese, right? That's the fear they had with them. What they do with them? As soon as the war broke out with Japan, they put them all in concentration camps. I mean, that was a big hint right there. Think about that, brothers and sisters. This is what their fear is. And they're talking about us, right? And this would be Trump's greatest fear, okay? Okay, now look what the solution is. If you go down, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it says right here, the first solution is to abort them. See, abort them. That's killing them. Killing that baby before they're born. Just abort them. And that don't work, right? Then we just cast them in the river. Just kill them all. See, they make a distinction between the male and the female. No, that's not what they're talking about. They're not talking about gender here. I'm not going into details for that. Not talking about, but even so, even if they were talking about gender, the point they get rid of the males, they got rid of the nation, right? They got rid of all the males. That means they effectively killed the nation anyway, right? Because the man has a seed. So don't get hung up on the gender there. Because either way, you understand, whether if they say the females, they don't say the females, the nation is dead if they get rid of all the males. That's their solution. They tell you the solution is death. Not life, not concentration camp, not imprisonment, death. Go look at this again. This new king rose after Joseph. That means that would be Trump, right? If Obama is the one that the question about Jonah whether Nineveh, the great city, would repent or not, then that means Trump would be the next one after him, right? After Obama, and it says right that was their fear. See, and this is what they. Right. Now you understand, because I'm going to speak this more directly in a minute, but this is their fear. Right? And they talking about their fear that there's going to be a war with China anytime. That they figure that they've been talking about that for years. Okay, that's their fear, and they said they're going to act on it. Okay. Now let's look at this. This gets back to those four angels we talked about earlier. I should have had this up front. That's why it got mixed up, right? It says it was four angels, right? Loose the four, but they only talk about three. You see, so they're talking about to kill a third part of men. That's where the mix-up was. This should have been before that. Then it would have been confusing. These are the four. It's the four angels. They don't talk about three. Three of them was demons. No, I mean, wait, hold it. Sorry, excuse me. Four of them is talking about four, right? These are not demons here, right? These are actually four winds. Right, but it talks about I'm not going any further into that right now because I should have put it up front then to be clear. I'm just going to make it more confusing if I talk about it. But these are not the demons also horsemen, right? And these are also horsemen. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I should have put it up front and it would have been confusing. Anyway, those of you follow with understand this. The point is, let's get to the point here. Okay. It loosed the four angels. These four angels are the first four trumpets. See, if you understand it, the first four trumpets didn't blow in that sequence. They blew 1, 2, 3, 4. But after the sixth angel, because if you read chapter 7, right, it says there was told to hold back until the sealing took place. So it was held back, and the sixth angel is the one that releases them. Sixth angel is the sixth trumpet. See, that's what it says. Angel sixth trumpet. He released the first four trumpets. So they only released after. They haven't been released yet. The first four haven't been released yet, right? Bound by the great river Euphrates. If you understand angel, you understand that. And we loose the four angels having been prepared an hour day a month to kill third-party men. The number of them is twice. This number, if you break it down, it means 200 million. 200 million. See? This refers to the armies of China and India. They can put a 200 million man army together and call it birth control because you only have about 350 million people in America all together. So America could not put an army together like that. All of Europe couldn't put an army together that big. But China and India together is about 3 billion people, somewhere in that neighborhood. So 200 million is not no big deal for them, right? So the 200 million men, that's very important. See? Okay? So let's move on. Now, I'll put some context to this in a minute. This is sixth seal, right? Now, what we need to read this very carefully, very carefully. It said, and the stars of heaven fell into the earth, a fig tree, as fig trees destroying unripe figs of it by wind great being shaken. Okay, That's a war here, right? These two stars, right, represents the first two trumpets. Remember, there's four winds. The first two trumpets, the four trumpets are the four winds, but these are the first two winds, right? Okay, as a fig tree is strong, now the fig tree scripturally represents false Israel, okay? And it's throwing unripe figs of it. That means the unripe figs, if it's a fig tree, the figs would be America and Britain. But they're unripe, they're not ready. In other words, they was prepared to do something, but they weren't ready yet. And that's when the stars fell, the four winds fell, because they weren't ready to do what they was planning to do. Whatever they was planning to do, it wasn't ready yet. See, I'm not going, I could spend hours trying to go into detail. I'm really trying to be in generalized, but enough detail you understand. So they were not ready yet. This war happened before the war happens, and the stars, see, the unshaken, that means it being shaken, right? It says, there was this great wind, right? That caused to be shaken by great wind being shaken. So that was the war. And then the four winds blew, right? Before it was ready. So the war took place before it was ready. They was ready to do something. They was prepared to do something. But before they was able to do it, they was preempted. Because this war started, that's the one in the Middle East started, and the four winds blew before they had a chance to do what they had been planning to do. Okay, and the rest of these things are things that happened after that. And then we go to the bottom here. And hide you from the face of sitting upon the throne. Who's sitting upon the throne? That's Farad. And from the wrath of the Lamb. That's two people there. See? Because they're the great wrath of them who's able to stand. Farad is in the east and Suleiman is here in the west. It's talked about the Lamb. The Lamb is, see, it's two of them. Both the wrath of both of them. See, keep telling there's only one left, one left. It's wrath. The one sitting upon the throne, from the face of one, hide you from the face of one sitting upon the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. See? And there's a lot more to that. But it says, became the day of the great wrath of them who is able to stand. All these clowns out here with their BS, talking like crap, they talk everything, and they won't be able to stand. Because anyone who's not behind this message is against this message, period. If they're out there talking against this message, or talking some other message, they're against this message. It says, if you're not with me, you're against me. And no one's talking this message. They have no idea what the angels talking. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're running their mouths. They're trying to make merchandise of you. Or they're talking all this BS they're talking, whatever. Yeah, they will pay the price because right now it says our people are lost because of lack of knowledge. Everyone that falls or is slain or falters in their blood, whatever, is on their hands. These clowns like Farrakhan and Silas and all these jerks out here talking that stupid stuff they're talking about, running their mouth, all these distractions, they talking stuff, oh man, nobody's behind after Elijah, all these scripties and demons. Watch what happens to them. And we're not talking, and your days are numbered, very numbered. You won't make it through the end of the year, I can tell you that. Okay, let's move on. Okay, the final solution, so we're going to get to it. There you go. I just talked about that a minute ago. It says, now arose a new king over Egypt who knew not Joseph. He said unto people, behold, the people of Israel, that's us, are more and more mighty than we. Come, let us deal wisely, lest they multiply, and come to pass that when they fall out any war, they also join themselves to our enemies and fight against us and get them up out of the land. See, we getting out of here, but they think we're going to kick their ass before we get out of here. Help the enemies. Help the enemies. If that's their fear, so what will they do about it? Okay. So, we're going to talk about their plan and Farad's plan. Now, on the left, I have both. Their plans on the left, Farad's plans on the right. Right? They're saying we're just about this where we are right now. We're a little past this here. Let's see if I have this right here. On the right is where we are right now. On the right is where we are right now. That's Farad's plan. See? Well, right now. the conflict between America and the sackcloth represents, and read chapter 11 also represents the witnesses, Iran and Syria, right? And the plague, the locust plague, was last 5 months, started in May, right? Some say May, June, but starting in 5 months. That means September will be the fifth month. If you want to take June, that'll be October. Anyway, it's 5 months. That's the first plague. Yes, a plague of locusts, it'll be two of them. It'll be the first one, 5 months, the second one, be even 10 times worse. That'll be the next one. It lasts 5 months also. Now see here, this is where we are right now. See, on the right, on the left there, let's watch this carefully. Oh, that's a mistake. I'm going to correct that right now. I'm not going to let that pass. I don't know how. It's like a guy that goes to the machine here. Hope this is not going to go mess me up again. Okay, only way I can ever do this. My brothers and sisters. I can't let that pass. It's confusing. It takes a lot of work to put these together, brothers and sisters, and I try to pay very close attention to detail, and sometimes something gets away. Something gets away. Apparently that got away. What? Just about there and do a double check real quick, make sure I don't want to have that problem happen again. That, looks good. Okay. Where were we at here? Okay, go from there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's try it again. Okay. See where we are right now, see on the right here. And then watch this carefully. Now this was supposed to happen. This was America's plan, right? Remember talking about the 6 seals? They weren't ready to do their thing yet. This is what they was planning to do before the war starts. See, the war hadn't started yet. The sackcloth, they're still at the bottom. See, America and Britain were still at the top. Let's go that again. They're still in control of the Middle East. Their position means they're in control of the Middle East. They've kicked, that's what it said, they kicked them out. So they moved into the Middle East and they superseded Iran and Syria's power, and they got them under sanctions and everything else. That's what that is. I'm not going into all the ins and outs of that right now. The bottom line is that position where they are right now, that's the Middle East. So they're in control of the Middle East right now. So the war starts. Now what happens is that before the war started, this on the left side, this is read the story of Adam and Eve, right? Okay. The reason I keep it as sackcloth because remember they covered themselves up after they ate. But this means they ate because this what here is that if you understand the Adam and Eve story, there was a tree of knowledge of good and a tree of knowledge of evil. There's not one tree. That's a mistranslation. It's two trees. There's a tree of good. There's no tree that produces two types of fruit. There's tree of good, knowledge of good, and tree of knowledge of evil. And there was a tree of life. There was multiple trees there, and the trees, they could do whatever they want to it. So they was told not to eat of it. When you eat something, you destroy it, you annihilate it, you take it out of existence, right? So they was told to beat Job, everything, but they couldn't kill it. So this is what it means. Don't eat of it. That means don't kill it. Because if you eat it, that means you get rid of it. So they do it anyway, right? See, they do it anyway. See, that's why they do it anyway. That means that was their plan to get rid of us. That's their plan. That's why it says it was it wasn't right yet. See, well, that was their plan. But before they was execute their plan, right? See, on the right, the war started. That's why he moves first before they had a chance to execute their plan. So you see them, you see the sackcloth, they're covering America and Britain and false Israel, right? They're covering them because they're at war with them. They go to war with them before they execute the plan on the left, the plan on the right takes place before the plan on the left is executed. That's what's trying to tell you in chapter in 6th seal. See, because that's their plan. That's their plan to get rid of us. Remember, they said that what they're going to do, we got to do something before the break. They want to do it before the war broke out. See, they wanted to do it before the war broke out because they said after the war breaks out, this is what they might do. So they wanted to do something before the war broke out. That was their plan on the left. Okay, hope you follow that. But then, right, and then on the left, right, remember after Adam and Eve ate, their eyes became open. Who are the eyes? The eyes represents the original nation. If you understand the symbols, the eye represents the original nation. So now they're covering, right, the original nation. So now they have eyes. See, let's go back here. I don't show it here, but the original nation, those are the demons of witchcraft. They have their party eyes, right? So when they cover them, now they have eyes. Adam and Eve have eyes. Now they can see. And now they can see, right? Once they see, right? Now they cover themselves up, right? They're actually covering themselves up now. That's what that means. Okay, I'm not going into detail about that. I'm just trying to give you some highlights here. Okay, so that's what happens. See? So when that happens, that's when Babylon falls. I talked about that earlier, right? And it has the demons under it and the unclean bird, right? And that's when it talks about in Malachi, when the Lord you seek, that's the Lord, the covenant. I mean, the messenger of the covenant. That's when Suleiman, right? He comes to the NOI suddenly. See, because they're in the process of getting ready to kill all the black people. See, but they wanted to do it before the war. But since the war started, they said, okay, now we really got to do it now because the war started. Remember, their fear is still that we're going to join, the black folks going to join with the enemy because they're at war now. Before, this was preparing for war. They were expecting war. But now they're at war. America's now, they've been kicked out of the Middle East and now they're at war with Russia. They're at war with EU, they're a form of allies, and they're at war with China and North Korea. They're at war now. And so the thing is, they say they got to get, because they're still afraid that they're at war. And this is, I mean, this is Armageddon for them. So they said, well, we got to definitely get rid of them now. We got to get rid of them because we remember what they do to the Japanese when they went to war with Japan. As soon as the war broke out, they put them in concentration camp. That's what they get ready to do with you. But they doing it for you. They kill you because at this point, the tanks are moving, right? The National Guards are activated. They're surrounding the inner cities, and that's when Suleiman comes to NOI, he cleans it up, he gets the throw the demons out, right? Gives them their mind back, right? Clean it up, prepare them for tribulation. But he comes, he cleans them up real fast. That's what it's talking about here. He comes right there. That's when he says, "Cut suddenly come with full of soul." They clean it out, clean them demons out. Give him his mind back. You see? And then, but because this is about to happen. Their plans that annihilate you. That's what it says. Read in Daniel. It says his plan was to annihilate you. It says annihilate means to get rid of you. It don't mean they come, so we're gonna take and imprison them, we're gonna lock them up, we're gonna subdue them. No, it says annihilate. Read what annihilate means. So on the right is God's plan. On the left is their plan. And then that's why he has to hit them with the four winds. See, that's the first two winds, right? That hits them hard, right? To slow them down. See? To slow them down. Because they're at this point, right, they're surrounding the cities. You got the tanks rolling in. You can see them coming. Black folks can see it now. They can see it. Because they're not just after the Nation of Islam, they have all black people. Anything that's black, they're going to get rid of. See? Now, they had another alternative plan too, but I'm not going to that right now. But this is the plan that's going to be executed as a result of Farad making his move first. Because those are his angels. Michael and his angels with the war, the dragon and his angels. That's what's happening. So they see the taste and everything moving in. And so now, right, he's cleaning NOI up. Right? And so black folks come together now because they see now it's clear. And the other thing is, think about this now. You have to understand this, brothers and sisters. When the war starts in the Middle East, the whole idea of the Middle East right now is that the false Israel was set up by Truman during the time of Elijah to destroy the narrative that we are the true seed of Abraham. They could not allow that narrative to exist because that means who they were. That means who are they? 400 years of what they've done, and that means they come under judgment. They could not allow that. You understand? So they had to take people that they were just a few days ago, right? Burn them up in chimneys. They fell in love with them. The asses became honey pots, and everybody was eating the honey overnight. So you know something was strange about that. Right? So they had to set them up to prove that they're the true seed of Abraham. You got to understand that principle. That's what all this is about. And they spent trillions of dollars in wars and everything to back it up because they cannot allow that narrative to exist that we are, because remember, these people read the Bible and everything, that we're the true seed of Abraham. How could they allow that narrative exist and that people believe in something like that? So they had to have everybody, oh no, people over there choose Israel. That means they absolve all white folks of their guilt, because if they're the true seed of Abraham over there, then that means that we're the sons of Ham, which deserve to be enslaved. Ham that was his punishment. He would be enslaved eternally. He'd be a slave to his brothers forever, because he was being punished, and we returned black because as a punishment. So you got blackness as a punishment. Everything was white. That's why people walk around talking about colored people. You better get up off of that. The lessons tell you we're not the colored people. Go buy you a coloring book. Everybody is white before they color them, ain't they? That means they're saying they're original, and when you color something, that means that we're the colored. That's what it means. So it means they're original because that's where you buy the book, coloring book, then you color it. They're all white first. Let's tell you, no, we're not. See, people of color. No, we're not people of color. They're the people of color. See, we're the original. Black is not a color. Black absorbs all colors. All colors come from black. Anyway, I'm not going to. Anyway, brothers and sisters. So that's the whole idea. So they had to accept the source. So now, think about it. They said, so everything is revolving. Remember, everything is revolving around the Abrahamic covenant. Everything evolving around the Abrahamic covenant. Get that through your mind. Everything in the world is evolving. All the scriptures are evolving around the Abrahamic covenant. So now the question is, who is the seed of Abraham? So they set up a false seed of Abraham. And so they're trying to make the whole world evolve around that idea, which is wrong. That's why the world is trembling. So it'll make Jerusalem to us a troublesome stone. See, because they're trying to make somebody else beat us that's not us. And so they're trying to force a reality that don't exist. The reality they have over there is a reality trying to force. Even Ishmael's on board with that because they even say that Jews are their brothers. And they know damn well it's not true. See, because they're all white now. I already explained how they got white. They're on board with that too. See, the Sunnis are on board with all of that. They're your enemies too because they don't want you over there because they say they're the true inheritors. And remember, they're the ones that sold us into slavery. They're the ones put us down in the pit, so it puts us in the hands of Egypt. You better understand, Sunniism. These people are your enemies. They're trying to get you into Sunniism because under Sunniism, you lose your inheritance. Because under Sunniism, they give the inheritance to Ishmael and take it away from you. Do you understand? They take the inheritance from you and give Ishmael. That's under Sunniism. That means they have the right inheritance and you are nothing. Because if they're Ishmael and the Jews are Isaac, then who are you? Nothing. They want you to believe in something. So that means you won't even look. You forget about the seat. They don't want you. They don't want that contract served. They don't want that contract enforced. Brothers and sisters, you have no, like that message said, you have no idea what you're up against. So that's the idea. So if you put that in your mind, you understand it, right? See, and the whole idea is that once Israel returns, that's the covenant. They will never be removed because God will protect them forever. But now they just got destroyed. They don't exist anymore. When the war comes, it says they took them down, and Daniel says a stronghold. They took it down. They took down, and now false Israel no longer exists. That's going to cause an earthquake in the minds of these people. Because everybody's going to understand now that we're the true seed of Abraham. Do you understand that? When the world understands that we're the true seed of Abraham, and what that means is going to change the whole reality of the world, change the whole political structure, the whole power structure in the whole world. They're going to destroy you. They got to get rid of you. They can't let that happen. That's the whole point. The whole world was on board with this, to get rid of us. The whole world's on board with it. And you right here scratch your ass to my NFL line. That's it, it will distract you. Anyway, and this democratic part, and you, that's what said the demon-possessed man was beating himself. He was actually beating himself. He was throwing himself, beating himself. And that's what you're doing. That's what he got you doing. Working against your own interests. That's the point. Okay, so he comes, he cleans up, okay. Then the wind's finished blowing, then he leaves. Right? He leaves, but it says the clouds of heaven. Now the clouds are also the horses. So these are the clouds, right? That's the resurrection. Because now they all come together. He brings them all together, right? Because now they see their destruction. It's clear. They're closing in on you. You see tanks coming. You see the troops coming. We think they're coming to have dinner. That's what you're going to see. But most are going to get caught up in the snare. And the demons, right, they're going to see. But still, even then, it's going to be a conflict. Because when they all come together, the demons are going to say, man, no, we don't need to leave here. We can talk to them. We just talked. We just convinced them that we're gonna work with them. We're gonna help them. See, they gonna still be talking that. No, let's talk to them. That's that Martin Luther King stuff. We talk to them. We brothers. We Christians. We with you. We Americans. We're not gonna fight against you. You are our children. I mean, we're your children. We masters' children. We house niggas. They still be talking that. Even after they put it together, because that decision, at that point, this decision is get the hell out of here. And it's going to be a conflict, just like it was in the 60s. Integration or segregation, separation or integration. That was the conflict between black, it was together. But then then you had the diversion. Elijah Muhammad said, get the hell out of here. And Martin Luther King said, no, let's integrate. And so that's what you're going to have at that point. They're all together. And they're going to say, no, man, we don't want to leave here. That's what it says. Read the demon-possessed man. Legion, Farrakhan, them said, no, we don't want to go. Please don't make us leave the country. They don't want to go. We want to stay here with our devil daddies, with our swine daddies. We don't want to go. No, we don't want to leave, y'all. Y'all go ahead. We don't want to leave. And the demon, this man, he wanted to leave. He's not possessed by demon. He wanted, no, he wanted, yeah, he wanted to leave. He didn't want to stay. That's the story. So that's when the division will take place, and we don't get them out of here. That's one of the ways we're going to separate, get them out. That's where there'll be separation between. What's the story? Michael arrives, right, and those who in the Lamb's book that's in left up top, right, they will be delivered, and then those in the dust, right, some everlasting life, some everlasting shame and appallment. So how did everlasting life? That means they got to go through tribulation. That's in the eye, right, and the demons. Right? They're everlasting shame and appallment. They're destroyed. They don't go anywhere. But they're not delivered. None of those delivered. Only one delivered is the elect. That's the top there. Right? So then here's the separation. So then the demons, they go back to daddy, swine daddies, right? Jesus, he's getting in the boat and he's getting out of town with his elect. So now we're over in the Middle East. Because they ain't coming here, so we're over there now. And demons are left here with the swine dads. And they get to fight with each other and go off a cliff together. That's the story, brothers and sisters. That's the story. That's the story. So you take or leave it, that's the story. See? That's why I keep pushing, because it's literally days away, maybe even hours, maybe even minutes. The war's about to start. I'm trying to explain to you what's going on. It's what happened before, because they had a plan and Allah had a plan. Both of them have a plan. See, but their plan was to get us before the war started. See, and so he knew, Fried knew what their plan is, so that he moves first. See, he moves first. That's what the sixth seal is all about. So that's the story. So when you see right here, the demons here, right? They're down there now, right? And they're back there with theirs. Now that's the second demon plague. This is the second demon plague. See? It says he had a king over them. Those demons, right? These are locusts. This second locust plague, right? See? They're all demons there. That's the second. I said it's 10 times worse than the first one. It's going to last 5 months. So they had a king over them. I'm just going to hit on this. I'll talk about this more in detail. But it says, in his name, it says he had 2 names, one in Greek and one in Hebrew. See, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you, that you have to understand that Daniel is a supplement to Injil, because if you don't understand Daniel, you don't understand what they talk about there. Because in Daniel, the only place they talk about Greece, and Greece represents China and India together. So he has 2 names. In this position, he has a Greek name. In the other position, he has a Hebrew name because he's next to that's Adam. He's next to the false Israel. So that's the king. That's what he's trying to tell you. Because it's two plague of locusts. 5 months. First one's 5 months, which is coming to an end now. Then the next one, right after the resurrection, right, will be even worse. Okay, brothers and sisters. I think I covered everything here. So, hope you understand. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'm going to close out here now. I think I said enough. Well, I said a lot. There's so much more to say, brothers and sisters, so much more. But I'm focusing right now on this particular thing here, but there's so much more surrounding it. Because everything I'm telling right now, all the scriptures, because this is the time of the scriptures. That even though the Quran has some stuff, explains stuff, but it doesn't tell you specifically. Angels tells you everything what's happening right now, give you details, give you names, everything. Quran doesn't do that because Quran is irrelevant now. It's good for reciting, but it's irrelevant as far as information. It's some general information. It's irrelevant. The angel, the reason why it was locked, it has a double lock on it. It has a double lock on it. Because you can't even understand the angel unless you break the You have to break both seals. You have to break the seal in Daniel, and because remember, read Daniel, it says it's sealed also. They made sure this was locked down tight. It had 7 seals, and if you break that, if you still got to break the seal of Daniel. I just tried to show you where the two connected. You got to break the seal of Daniel too. It's got a double seal on it, double lock, and none of them out there can tell you. They can't even tell you either one. See, it has a double lock on it. They can't tell you either one. They can't tell you either one. See, Angel has 7 seals, and Daniel has a seal, and you need both. You need to break both seals to understand it. If you just break the angel, you're going to get a lot of information, but some information you can't get because you need the Daniel to explain some of it. And same thing, you can't understand Daniel if you don't break the angel. So it has a double lock on it. So they can't penetrate it. It said only the Lamb could do it. And no one's out there talking about it because they don't understand it, they have no knowledge. So why you listen to them when it says that that's the book? That only the Lamb could break the seals. And unless they say they broke the seal, they have to show the evidence. They say, Farad broke the seals, show the evidence. They say Elijah broke the seals, show the evidence. They can't. And they have to, like I said, they can't. We got to bring both. They got to bring Daniel. They don't even know the connection between Daniel and Angel. Like I told you, Daniel has 12 chapters and Angel has 22. But the 13th chapter of Angel is the 13th chapter of Daniel because you read the 13th chapter of Angel has the primary symbols that are in Daniel. And it's the only place you find them in the 13th chapter. Okay, brothers and sisters. I hope you understand. Okay. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover here. This is about to break out any time now. So I'll keep longer until it breaks out and keep on keep on banging the desk on this. Bam, bam, bam. See? But our people are not going to wake up to the 4 winds blow. That's it. I mean, there's nothing going to do about that. So my purpose is to put the information out there so be ready, so you'll be ready for them. Because obviously I can't talk about all this in a short time. Once it happens, winds blow, you got time to talk about this stuff. So it got to be out there, and to the extent that they have access to it. And those brothers and sisters that are waking up, right? They're the brothers and sisters that are going to be set there to get them once they come in. They got to be organized. There got to be some people to tell them what to do. There's got to be laborers to help it. I can't do it by myself. I only got 2 arms and 2 legs and 1 head. So you brothers and sisters that are waking up there, you are blessed because you're the ones that's going to be sitting here and telling, because you got to study and pay attention because they're going to be listening to you. They're going to be begging you, please tell me what's going on, brothers. Explain to me because they're going to want to know then. They want to know then, and they're going to need you to, talk. They tell them what to do. See? And just think about it. When Jesus raised Lazarus, he only had the 12 disciples, and they weren't even faithful, and a few women with him. So don't be discouraged, but that's the way the prophecy is exactly like it's supposed to be. Now Lazarus is about to rise. When he rises, he come in a flood. They come there during the flood, and I can't hold them by myself. I can't guide them by myself. I'm one person. So you brothers and sisters waking up, you are blessed people. Something special about you. Well, you and me waking up to this now. It's something special about you, brothers and sisters. Those of you just picking up on this. Because you're the one, who you think going? Be the traffic cops that come running in that door. Say, do this, do that. Organize them. Who you think will be doing that? Me, by myself? Farad? No. See? Think about that, brothers and sisters. So those of you that's waking up to get on the case. Stay hard as you can. Because something special about you. There's something very special about you, brothers and sisters. You don't know, but something very special about you. Assalamu alaikum.